Welcome, brave souls, to Shivering Hour, where the shadows hold secrets and the unknown comes alive. Tonight we bring you a spine-chilling tale called The Attic. Imagine moving into a new home, full of promise and potential, only to discover something lurking above you, in the dark. A woman hears strange noises in the attic, but what she uncovers goes far beyond creaking floorboards. An old journal, a vanished occupant, and a truth she never expected to find. Turn off the lights, settle in, and prepare yourself, because some things in the attic should stay hidden. Let's begin. The Stalker in the Attic. It was an ordinary Saturday afternoon when Sarah moved into the old, creaky house at the edge of town. She had heard all sorts of rumors about the house, the kind of stories that people whisper, half believing and half fearful. But none of it seemed to bother Sarah. She'd always been drawn to the charm of old houses, the creaky floors, the dim-lit rooms, and the way the light streamed through dusty windows. This house felt welcoming. Sarah spent the first few days unpacking, getting to know the creaks and groans of the house. The attic door was shut tight, locked with an old brass padlock. She was curious, of course, but she had other things to do. There were plenty of boxes to go through, and she was still getting used to the new neighborhood. It was around midnight when the first strange thing happened. Sarah was lying in bed, reading a book, the dim light from the bedside lamp casting long shadows across the walls. She heard it, a faint scraping noise. At first she thought it was the wind or maybe just the house settling. But then it came again, a sharp, deliberate scraping sound that echoed through the walls. Sarah listens, eyes wide with confusion. The sound grows louder, closer. It was coming from the attic. She told herself it was just the house. It had to be the house. Sarah gets out of bed, glancing nervously at the attic door. But as soon as she reached the door, the sound abruptly ceased, leaving her standing in the silence of the dark hallway. Over the next few days, the noises continued. At first, they were faint, just small scraping noises like something or someone was moving around in the attic. Over the next few days, the noises continued. At first, they were faint, just small scraping noises like something or someone was moving around in the attic. One day, when Sarah was entered the house with a grocery bag, placed it on the kitchen counter. She was startled as the scraping sound echoes through the walls again. Sarah couldn't take it anymore. She needed to know what was happening in the attic. So, one afternoon, when the house was empty, she decided to investigate. Sarah took a deep breath, grabbed a flashlight, and walked toward the attic door. The padlock still sat there, rusted and untouched. Her heart raced as she fumbled for the key she had found hidden in a drawer on her first day, right beside the dusty old journal of the house's previous owners. Sarah unlocks the door and pushes it open slowly. The flashlight beam cuts through the thick dust, revealing piles of old furniture and forgotten boxes. Nothing seems amiss. The attic was just as she'd imagined, dark, full of old things, but something felt off. The air was thick with dust, and an eerie chill ran down her spine. She scanned the room with the flashlight, her breath catching as she noticed something strange. She looks at the far corner of the attic. A shadow shifts. Something was moving. The shadow flickers and disappears. Sarah gasps, stepping back quickly. She shone the flashlight over the area, but it was empty. The air was still, nothing out of place. That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. The noises had become louder, more frequent, almost as if someone was pacing in the attic, moving around in the darkness. She tried to ignore it, but her curiosity got the better of her. The noises are deafening now, like heavy footsteps. She couldn't wait anymore. She grabbed the chair, positioned herself in front of the attic door, and swung it open. The attic is completely still. She steps inside cautiously, shining the flashlight around. But this time, the attic was not empty. A figure stood in the far corner, tall, hunched, almost blending into the shadows. The figure turned slowly, revealing a pair of wide, terrified eyes. It's a man, dirty, disheveled, and wild-looking. He stares at Sarah, motionless. The man didn't speak. He just stared at her, his breath ragged. He looked like he hadn't seen daylight in years. It was then that Sarah realized he was living in the attic. Sarah steps back, horrified. The previous owners of the house had mentioned the attic in their journal. They had always wondered why the house felt so alive, so full of strange energy. They'd never dared open the door. Now, Sarah understood why. The man suddenly lunges toward her with a growl, and Sarah screams, slamming the attic door shut behind her as she rushes downstairs. The next morning, Sarah couldn't take it anymore. She called the police, telling them about the man she had found in the attic. When they arrived, they searched the entire house, but there was no sign of him. The officers found no trace of the man, and the attic door was locked once again. There were no footprints, no sign of anyone having been there, but Sarah knew what she had seen. The man was real, and he was still somewhere in the house. As the days passed, Sarah tried to convince herself it was all in her head, but every night she heard the scraping noise again. And this time, it wasn't coming from the attic. It was coming from behind the walls. On Sarah's fearful face, a single tear rolling down her cheek as the sounds grow louder. Some houses never let go, and sometimes the things that hide in them are far worse than what we can ever imagine.
And that wraps up another chilling tale from the shadows. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then don't forget to give this video a like. It helps keep the horror alive. And if you're ready for more spine-tingling stories, mysteries, and eerie adventures, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss the next frightful journey into the unknown. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, the shadows are always watching. See you in the next episode of Shivering Hour.